Hey everybody, welcome back to Social Zombie. It is I, Mr. Wolf. I have not made a video in like years, but I'm wanting to kind of start back up. So hopefully you can get some more videos from me. I've been seeing actually just before we move on to the video, I've been seeing quite a few Duel Links creators actually take a step back from the game, and like I can understand why. But I'm still enjoying the game, even with its flaws. So yeah, hopefully we can get some more videos out, and I can show you what uh, what kind of decks I can make. So today's video, guys, as it's probably in the title, is Despia Dark Lords. Um, Despia, you got new Despia cards from the new box Millennium Duel, and it claps, guys. It freaking claps. Let me actually we'll go over to my deck. So this is my deck. So I'm running two Alibas, trying to get the third one. I'm kind of unsure whether to run three or not. I probably will just for consistency with the skill, which we will talk about. Alaba is a really great starter. Basically, any Despia card in this deck is a starter. So that's why you try and run as many Despia monsters and branded openings as you can. So, two Alibas. I'm running two Dramaturges. Unsure if I'm going to run three. At this stage, I think two's pretty. It kind of hits that sweet spot. Three might be a bit too much, but we'll see once I get my third. Then we've got the two Dark Lord Morning Stars. Now this is going to set up your. If you're going first, this will set up your turn to basically board nuke. Which if you know, as long as you can get that timing, your opponent is going to be very hard to come back from. Um, I've got my Ad Libitum of Despia. This is just essentially another kind of extender. The really awesome thing I like about these Despia cards is they're very hard to get rid of. They just float into other stuff. Um, so, for example, Dramaturge, if you use it as for a fusion material, it summons itself back, which is great because then you can go into even more fusions. You can go into your link summons. It's just a great extender. Same thing with Ad Libitum of Despia. Oh, hang on. Oh, there we go. Basically, if you use it as a fusion material, you can target one Despia monster in your grave and special summon it. Or so Despia monster or level 8 or higher fusion monster. So if you've used up all your Queritus, the Despian Queritus, that's a great, I'm sorry, great revive. Um, so that's awesome. Despian Comedy is great protection from targeting effects for your Despia cards. Um, Running a one of it, it's pretty. You don't really want to run more than one. It's searchable. It's just a really good kind of one of card. Tragedy is amazing as a searcher. Basically, if it gets discarded to the grave, so if it goes to the grave, or if it's banished by a card effect, you get to search your deck for a Despia monster. So sometimes I will open up branded opening and tragedy, use branded opening, discard tragedy, to then search for a Aluba. So Aluba is typically your normal summon, and then tragedy's effect activates, and I'm usually grabbing either a Dramaturge or if I've got Dramaturge in my hand, grabbing a Ad Libitum. Um, okay, just I've got Forbidden Droplet as a tech card. You really, you know, it's got this has a lot of power to it. This deck, so running one of, it does help for when you go second. So when you go first, it does help when you go first, so then you can disrupt more players from your opponent going out when it's their turn. Two Banishment of the Dark Lords. I I really don't want to brick this deck up too much, so running two is probably the sweet spot. Because the Morningstar is searchable anyway, and we'll into that without Banishment of the Dark Lords. But it's good just to have that kind of consistency without going overboard. Running two Cosmic Cyclones, that's a no-brainer. There's a lot of back row heavy decks, so running two is great. Book of Eclipse, that it sometimes just one book of Eclipse can just shut down your opponent's field if it's their turn, and sometimes that's just the game ender right there. Running three branded openings, that's you run three for the skill, but also it's a great opener as well. If you open it with Tragedy, if you open it with uh, yeah, Tragedy. Sometimes you can discard your Aluba if you would like, but typically your target is going to be Tragedy. Branded in red, amazing fusion spell. This is actually the spell that facilitates your board nuke on the opponent's turn. And that is basically you target one Despia monster, or Fallen of Albers, but we don't run Fallen of Albers in this deck. Target one Despia monster in the grave, add it to your hand, and then you can fusion summon one level 8 or higher fusion monster by banishing fusion materials mentioned it from your hand or field. But the drawback is it can't attack this turn. That's fine, because usually you're using this on your opponent's turn anyway, and you're just basically nuking them from orbit. And then you're just running one Despia Theatre of the Branded. This is basically how you're going to be fusing most of the time. During your main phase, you can summon one level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as material. And then it just has a little extra effect that if a face-up non-fusion fairy type monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect or is destroyed by battle, you can target one level 8 or higher fusion monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Basically, this is just for extra protection. So if someone takes out one of your fusion monsters, you can then put something in defense mode so that your life points are safe. Extra deck. Masquerade the Blazing Dragon, the Tax Dragon. This thing is absolutely broken. If people either don't read, which most of the case Yu-Gi-Oh players don't read, it will just keep burning and burning and burning and burning until you're left with, I think it's like 400 life points, and you can't activate anything. So, and that's really good because people are gonna need to spend resources to get rid of this thing. The only kind of downside is that if you bring this back from the grave, if you revive it, it does not have that burning effect. So just keep that in mind. Running one Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This is great. It basically, if you summon it, it's gonna make the opponent's second guess getting rid of it, because if they get rid of it, it nukes their field. So you've got two nuke options in this deck, and one of them the opponent really can't do much about. If you time it right, you'll see me in the replays. I try and bait out negates and stuff so that by the time I activate my branded in red, they can't negate my first Dark Lord. Predator Plant, Dragostapelia. I use this, sometimes. It doesn't really come up that often, but it is a good negate. So it is a kind of a situational card. But yeah, it is a good negate. Really, nothing really too much to go on about it. But yeah, we'll go over to the next one. The first Dragon Lord. Now this is your board nuke. Okay, so it costs 3 fairy monsters, and your opponent cannot target fairy monsters you control with card effects. So that's all your Despia cards are just unaffected, as well as your not just unaffected, but your so they just can't target it, which is great. And then basically, if you use Dark Lord Morningstar as fusion material for it, it nukes the entire field, not just monsters, not just spells, not just traps. It nukes everything. So that's why timing is really, really important in this deck. Because you really want to kind of pick that moment where, okay, they've exhausted some negates, they've exhausted some um, disruptions. Okay, they probably don't have anything left. Flip open branded in red. Send Morningstar plus 2 other cards, 2 other monsters to the graveyard. Summon out the first Dark Lord and just nukes the entire field. Then we have Despian Quaritis, which is a great card. Costs 1 Despian monster and 1 light or dark monster. And during the main phase, you can change the attack of all monsters currently on the field to 0 until the end of this turn, except level 8 or higher fusion monsters. There is, I think, one time in the replays, which is actually my loss, that I actually misplay because I forget that my monsters count. So 2 of my normal monsters go to 0 attack, and he just sort of swings in for the win. That's basically my only loss. And then if this card, if this face-up card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can add or special summon 1 Fallen of Albaz or 1 Despia monster from your deck. Now, I'm kind of weighing up my options whether this deck is better than the branded Despia deck. I'm leaning towards yes, just because of the board nuke. But if you do play Fallen of Albaz, this is a really good card to fusion summon on your opponent's turn using their card. Sorry. I run 2 of them. Despian Proskenian costs a Despian monster plus 1 light monster plus 1 dark monster. So it is quite a situational card. But during the main phase, you can target 1 fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link monster you're in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, or special summon it to your field. And when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the monster's original attack or defense, whichever is higher. So I don't really use this too much, but it is nice to have for when their situation requires it. You know what Nightmare Unicorn does. Don't need to explain it. And then Condemned Dark Lord, 2 fairy type monsters. You contribute summon fairy type monsters that require 2 tributes by banishing 2 monsters from your graveyard instead of tributing. This really doesn't come up all that much. But the next one does, which is you can discard 1 card, take 1 Dark Lord monster from your deck, and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. This is your outside of banishment of the Dark Lords. This is your searcher for Dark Lord Morningstar, which is great. You'll see me kind of end on Condemned Dark Lord and the Tax Dragon, and then kind of wait until the opponents kind of build up their field. Don't really think that there's any kind of negates, and then bang, board nuke, and then they usually either surrender or end their turn. Alright guys, so that is my Despia Dark Lord deck. Like I said, 3 Alubas is probably the better way to go. I just don't have 3 yet. I'm going through the box trying to get my third. Dramaturge, I think two's pretty good where it's at. 3 might be kind of a bit too much, but that's just going to be doing more. That's just that will just come with doing more testing when I get my third. All right, guys, let's go over to the replays. So first of all, before I do that, we're going to go to oh, no, sorry, no, ranked. I'm legend rank 4. This loss was the Utopia deck, and the Utopia deck is BS, man. It's just so much recursion. It can use its skill multiple times a duel. Like it's just, and then the rest of it wins. I went on like a 10 or 11 win streak with this deck until I came up against that Utopia deck. All right, guys, let's go to our replays. See. Okay, let's go heroes. Let's look at our hero game first. Alrighty. Going first. Okay, so so activating the skill, revealing my Alobud to get my tragedy and get my theater. Summoning Alaba to then search out a branded opening. Activating theater to then special summon, to fusion summon my Masquerade. Tragedy's effect is going to search. Dramaturge is going to special summon itself. Yep. And then I'm going to link someone off into my Condemned Dark Lord. And that will then search for the Dark Lord Morningstar. With branded opening as well, it is a protection for your fusion monsters. So if your fusion monsters would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish it. You can banish the branded opening from your grave instead. Okay, so he's just decided to. Oh, so he's gonna Dark Hole, my branded opening. Saved my Masquerade. Stratos is gonna then search for a Liquid Soldier. And he's gonna activate his skill to then bring out a Neos and bring out a Super Poly. And another Poly. Neos is gonna get flipped up. Righteous Hero to try and destroy my my spell or trap card. I'm gonna then bring out my branded in red, and this is the board nuke. The first Dark Lord. Boom. Oh. It doesn't matter if you're super polys now. It's still gonna nuke the field. It's still gonna nuke his field. Boots, and there we go. And he immediately surrendered. Okay. Trying to look for Ancient Gears. I think Ancient Gears is tiered. I think it's tier 2. Or was. Alright. I'm going second now. So the thing with this deck is it's really good going first, but it's also really good going second. So it does not have a weakness. Is it better going first? Yes. But also is a really good going second deck too. Alright, so I've drawn 2 Morning Stars, a Book of Eclipse, and a Branded Opening. So it's not really a great hand. Gear Town, and then he's activating Fortress. He's then playing Tanker. And then he's playing Dark Golem to search out the Gear Catapult and the Ancient Gear Duel. Alright, so Tanker's going to destroy Gear Town to bring out the Ancient Gear Wyvern to search out the Ancient Gear Fusion. It's going to link into the Ancient Gear Ballista. Ballista's going to search for the Commander. And Ancient Gear Fusion to go into Ancient Gear Howitzer. Ancient Gear Howitzer. Commander. Got banished. Ancient Gear Howitzer to burn me for 500. Theater of Brander's opening. So that searches a Despia Tragedy. And I mill the ad libitum. Alright, so Branded opening, discarding Tragedy, special summoning a Luba. Trady's gonna search. Oh, Ancient Gear Duel is gonna fusion summon Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. So search for a Dramaturge, get a Branded in red. Book of Eclipse, putting his Golem into face down defense, using Theater to go into first Dark Lord, and then Dramaturge activates to special summon itself back. And I nuke because Howitzer is unaffected by other card effects. It nukes everything but that. Branded in red. Going to go into Masquerade. Dramaturge. There we go. It's got a couple of face turns, I think there. Oh, and I got Book of Eclipse, and yep, it's fine. And then that burn. You want to burn me, I'll burn you. But even more. And then gonna go into Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. Alright. Masquerade burning, he's gonna try and Book of Eclipse. He does Book of Eclipse. That's okay. Go Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. Gonna go for Tanker. Tanker gonna revive the Wyvern. Wyvern going to search for the Ancient Gear Fusion. He's going to Ancient Gear Fusion into, I think it's another Howitzer. Yep, another Howitzer. Ancient Gear Howitzer going to burn me for 500. And then I Book of Eclipse his Golem. And then I draw a bunch of cards. Despia. Theater activates. Fusion summoning into Quiritius. Dramaturge summoning itself back. See, Dramaturge is so good just for that recursion. So bang, he's down. Howitzer's done. Burning for 600 for Howitzer's effect. Dark Golem. Oh. There we go. Branded in red. Oh, and then he's like, nah. So there we go, guys. That is Ancient Gears. So I'm just trying to have a look. I think this is another. I think this is a Lava Golem. I actually misplay here, but he surrenders anyway. Because I just had so much advantage. Strike 9. Zexal. Get of the branded. Okay. So yeah, this is a great example of, I believe I'm trying to like bait out his negates. So I can set up for the Dark Lord nuke. See here. Yeah, he's gonna then go into Utopia double. Gonna go into Utopia Ray. This deck does need to be looked at. It is just very, very oppressive. Oh, and then I even win, even playing through Abyss Dweller, which does it does affect the deck somewhat, not as big as some other decks, but it does affect it. Alright, so Cosmic Cyclone going to he's then going to activate the numbers protection. There we go. Banishment of the Dark Lords. Searching for Morningstar. Yep. So trying to bait out his negates. Branded in red. Coming back to hand. Going in for the first Dark Lord. Bang, bang, bang. And then obviously because Brandon, I used Brandon in red, I couldn't actually attack him on that turn. So yeah, guys, that is Despia Dark Lords. It's a very, very good deck, and it is only going to get better, especially with the Despia stuff. Despia has the Despia Dark Lords, branded Despia. You know, when they bring in the bestial cards, if they bring them, doesn't it all synergizes together? And I foresee most Despia decks being run at 30 cards because there's so much utility and support for Despia, for branded, and now with the Dark Lord engine as well. So that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Also, guys, if you haven't already, I do stream over on Twitch, twitch.tv /Mr. Wolf TV. Wolf is WOLFE. Links will be in the description. Go and follow me, and I will see you there. Bye for now.